Hey everyone, welcome back for my Titans episode 9 breakdown with an interesting episode to say the least. I think I knew we were in for something just in the recap of events. We really shift to focus this episode away from the Scarecrow and Jason sort of storyline and over to people we haven't seen in a while, and that is Bruce Wayne, Donna Troy, Rachel, and then even Hank, which I was not expecting. The opening of the episode is Bruce Wayne, and the last time we saw this guy, he broke his no-kill rule to once and for all eliminate Joker after he thought that the Joker had killed Jason Todd. We know now that this was all a ruse planned by Scarecrow, but since Bruce has been off the radar, I'm not sure he even knows that. I'm assuming not. And in this scene, he's getting his affairs in order by having his will revised, which is some pretty heavy dark foreshadowing. Then we head over to Rachel and Donna. It has been even longer since we've seen them. Donna was killed in the finale of last season, and Rachel left with her to the Mascara in hopes that they could bring her back to life. Months later, that has not happened yet, and Rachel is growing frustrated and wants to use her powers to see if she can speed this process along. However, she's caught trying to do so, although she is expressly told not to, and lands herself in trouble. What she now has to do as punishment is rebuild this rock formation that represents the soul. Obviously, this is a challenge, and even with her powers, she just doesn't get it and thinks that maybe Donna really is dead for good, and that it's time for her to leave the Mascara and head home to the Titans. However, some events are about to unfold. Tim Drake was shot at the end of last episode and wakes on a train, not really sure what's going on or where he is. He panics and makes a break for it and just happens to cross paths with none other than Donna Troy, who follows him off the train because she can see that he's pretty stressed. In the woods, they encounter what we later learn are ghouls, but they're luckily saved by another familiar face, Hank. When I first saw the car, I was pretty sure that Sam and Dean were going to pop out, but then I remembered we're not really in that universe. Tim is weakened by the encounter with the ghouls, so he's sleeping in the back of the car, and Donna's surprised to see Hank. She understands that she's dead. Tim didn't at first, but she knows why she's here, that she's dead, and that she's headed into the next phase, whatever that may be. However, she's still shocked to learn that Hank too is dead. He explains to her the events that led up to that, and I love that Donna's first reaction was how Dawn is doing, and I'm hoping that eventually we see Dawn come back to the team, like maybe Donna will seek her out before returning to Gotham. Anyway, Hank takes them to a location he has been operating out of, helping people escape the ghouls. Apparently, if they catch you, they can send your soul to hell. Not a good place to be. While here, Hank tells Donna that he knows a way back to the land of the living, which is interesting for me because Hank is in bits. Like, he didn't just die, he exploded. However, Donna isn't interested in going back only to die again eventually. She's not happy with the way she went out and doesn't want to go through all that again. However, Hank thinks that she's full of it, and when the ghouls arrive, it kind of proves his point. The ghouls arrive and come after them, and Donna immediately is the hero, putting herself between the ghouls and Tim. That is until Hank shoots the ghouls with the gun he later explains he can summon on command. If you want something bad enough here, it just appears. With the gunshots, Tim's memory has been jogged, and he remembers dying and explains this to Donna and Hank, that he is kind of working with the Titans and he needs to go back and help them, mostly because he feels like he died a coward's death by running from Scarecrow, and this is what finally convinces Donna to try to go back to being alive. So they head out looking for this upside down tree because that's what Hank was told is the sign for the bridge that takes you back. They finally find the tree, which was pretty easy, and then they begin their way across the bridge as they're surrounded by ghouls. Tim was pretty useless in this fight, and I don't necessarily mean that in a bad way. He's untrained and just not a hero yet. He has the heart though. Donna and Hank, however, have some funny moments before kicking some cool ass. Donna pulls out the cream soda bottles that she loves so much, and then Hank pulls out Robin's throwing stars because, there was always some kind of animosity between them. And then the nunchucks, which I think is a reference to when the actor that plays Hank was Raphael in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie. And then he immediately hits himself in the head with them, which I think everyone does. But eventually Donna gets a sword and starts to really make a dent in the ghouls. As this is happening, though, the bridge begins to give out, leaving Donna on the exiting side while Tim and Hank are stuck on the wrong side. With encouragement from Donna and the help of her lasso, she gets Tim across. Unfortunately, Hank isn't lucky, and this actually hurt more than I thought it would. Like, I had zero expectations of him making it across, but was still like misty-eyed when it happened. He then pulls a baseball bat out and fights the ghouls off. So while he won't make it back to living, he isn't going to hell either right now. Instead, he's reunited with the original Dove, Don, who was like a brother to him. So it was a good ending for Hank, and one that I wasn't really expecting to get for him. I thought he would just blow up and everyone would be sad, and that was the end of his story. But this was a really nice way to wrap up his character, and I appreciate that they did this. As for Donna and Tim, where Donna has been prepped for her return, and it's been some time since she's been dead, she doesn't have that dramatically painful return to the living. But for Tim, he is still on an operating table when he comes to. So this is a pretty traumatic moment for him. Rachel feels Donna's return as she's packing to leave to go back to the Titans, but when she goes to find her, she isn't there. Instead, she's over with Bruce, who has just attempted and almost succeeded in ending his own life. Now, sure, I'm not sure how I feel about this. I'm a huge Batman fan. I think we tend to put these characters on pedestals as like not real people. I mean, they're not real people, but we don't always give them human mentality sometimes. So Batman would never do this in a comic book. I don't think so. I don't think that they would do that. But Bruce in the show has been rocky for a while and lost just tons of stuff. I mean, Robin just died. He thought his Robin just died. Alfred's dead. Gordon's dead. He's just been through the ringer. And this was just a real crisis moment for him as a person. And so I'm not really upset that they had Bruce Wayne killing himself. I don't think so. But my goal is that they give him a really good redemption story now that his life has been saved. He'll learn that Jason Todd isn't dead. I think he's still going to struggle with the fact that he killed Joker. But all in all, I think that this is something that he's going to be able to get past, and I'm excited to see it on the show. And I'm also really super excited to see Rachel and Donna returning as well. I imagine that they'll just be in Gotham next week, helping the Titans with their fight against Jason and Scarecrow. So, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I really did. This season has been the best one so far, in my opinion. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos just like this, hit the subscribe button for more.